Some decisions are made for money, others come with a price no one sees coming. Kevin Parker adjusted his cheap tie, his heart pounding as he stood beside the elegantly decorated wedding altar. The grand ballroom shimmered with gold accents, filled with guests who whispered behind their champagne glasses, throwing him side-eyed glances. He knew what they were thinking. Gold digger. He's only in it for the money. And maybe they weren't entirely wrong. Kevin had been a broke college student, drowning in debt, working 3 jobs just to afford his next meal. Then he met Eleanor Sinclair, a 71-year-old millionaire with more wealth than he could ever imagine. It had started as a friendship, then companionship, and before he knew it, Eleanor had proposed, offering him a life free from struggle, free from hunger, free from the fear of never making it. So he had said yes. Now, 7 days into their marriage, he walked into their massive mansion, expecting another quiet evening. But instead, his blood ran cold. Eleanor's personal lawyer was waiting for him in the study, holding an envelope, his expression unreadable. "What's this?" Kevin asked cautiously. The lawyer slid the envelope across the desk. "Mrs. Sinclair left instructions for you." Kevin frowned. "Left?" The lawyer sighed, adjusting his glasses. "Mr. Parker, Eleanor has disappeared." Kevin's breath caught. "What do you mean, disappeared?" The lawyer pushed the envelope closer. "Read the letter." With shaky hands, Kevin tore it open. His eyes scanned the words, his pulse pounding harder with every line. And then, his stomach dropped. Because Eleanor hadn't just left. She had vanished. And she had left behind a secret that changed everything. Kevin's hands trembled as he gripped the letter, his eyes scanning the words over and over, hoping he had misread them. "By the time you read this, I will be gone. But don't worry, Kevin. You will soon understand why. You thought you knew me, but there are things about my life I never told you, and now they are yours to deal with." His stomach twisted. Gone? What did that mean? Did she leave on her own? Was she in danger? He looked up at the lawyer. "Where is she?" The man's expression remained unreadable. "We don't know." Kevin's pulse pounded in his ears. "What do you mean you don't know? A woman worth millions doesn't just vanish." The lawyer calmly placed another document on the desk. "There's more." Kevin hesitated before picking it up. The paper was thick, official, a transfer of ownership. His eyes widened. Eleanor had signed over everything, her estate, her businesses, her wealth, to him. His throat went dry. "She left me. Everything?" The lawyer nodded. 7 days ago, the papers were finalized. As of this moment, you are legally in control of her entire fortune." Kevin's knees felt weak. This wasn't what he had planned. He had expected to live comfortably by Eleanor's side, not suddenly become a millionaire overnight. Something wasn't right. He grabbed the letter again, reading the last few lines. "If you want the truth, Kevin, go to my private study. Open the second drawer of my desk. But be careful. Some secrets are meant to stay buried." A chill ran down his spine. Eleanor hadn't just left. She had vanished, and whatever she had been hiding was still inside this house. Kevin swallowed hard, his fingers gripping the letter tightly. He had married Eleanor for a better life. But now, he wasn't sure if he had walked into a fortune or a trap. Kevin's heart pounded as he made his way down the long, dimly lit hallway of Eleanor's mansion. The air felt heavier now, thick with something unspoken. Eleanor's private study, a place she had always kept locked, a place she had never let him enter. But now, she was gone, and she had left him with instructions. When he reached the door, he hesitated. His fingers curled around the brass handle, slick with sweat. Some secrets are meant to stay buried. He turned the knob. The door creaked open. The room smelled of old paper and polished wood, lined with towering bookshelves and antique furniture. But Kevin wasn't here for the books. His eyes locked onto the grand mahogany desk in the center of the room. His pulse roared in his ears as he stepped closer. Second drawer. He crouched down, gripping the handle, and pulled. Locked. His breath hitched. He yanked harder, still locked. Kevin searched the desk, his fingers brushing against a small, decorative box on top. His gut told him to check it. He flipped it open. Inside, nestled in red velvet, was a single silver key. His hands shook as he grabbed it and jammed it into the drawer's lock. Click. The drawer slid open. Inside, there were two things: a flash drive and a manila folder labeled, "For Kevin's eyes only." Kevin's mouth went dry. He grabbed the folder first, flipping it open. His stomach dropped. Inside were photos, grainy surveillance images of Eleanor, meeting with dangerous-looking men, some in suits, others in dark alleys, some holding briefcases, others holding guns. His breath hitched. He flipped through more: bank statements, offshore accounts, property deeds, and then the last page. His hands went ice cold. A death certificate. Eleanor Sinclair, deceased. Date of death, 7 years ago. Kevin's mind reeled. What? That's not possible. She was alive just days ago. His vision blurred, his heartbeat hammering like a war drum. He reached for the flash drive, his fingers unsteady. He needed to know. He needed to see whatever Eleanor had left for him. Because this wasn't just a marriage, it was a setup. And he had just become part of something far bigger and far more dangerous than he ever imagined. Kevin's hands trembled as he clutched the flash drive. His mind raced with questions, none of them leading to answers that made sense. How could Eleanor have been declared dead 7 years ago? Who or what had he just married? A cold sweat dripped down his back. He needed to see what was on the drive. His eyes darted around the study until he spotted an old laptop tucked in the corner of the desk. He grabbed it, flipped it open, and jammed the drive into the USB port. A single folder appeared on the screen. Play Me. Kevin's pulse pounded as he clicked it. A video file opened. The screen was dark for a moment, then static crackled, and Eleanor's face appeared. She looked different. The confident, elegant woman he had married was gone. This Eleanor looked tired, weary, eyes full of secrets. And then she spoke. "Kevin, if you're watching this, it means I've disappeared, and it means they're coming for you next." Kevin's stomach dropped. "Coming for me?" "Who?" Eleanor's voice was calm, but there was something behind it, something like regret. "You think you married an old, wealthy widow. That's only half true. The reality is, I was never supposed to be found. 7 years ago, I faked my death to escape people who don't forgive. And by marrying me, Kevin, you've put yourself directly in their crosshairs." Kevin's throat went dry. He could barely breathe. "The fortune I left you, it's not just money, it's leverage, it's power. And it's the one thing they've been after all this time." Kevin gripped the desk, his vision blurring. Who the hell are they? Then, Eleanor's voice changed, more urgent. "Listen to me carefully. You have 2 choices: run or fight. But whatever you do it fast, because the moment they realize I'm gone, they'll be coming to take everything back." Suddenly, a loud knock on the front door. Kevin's head snapped up. His breath caught. Then, a second, harder knock, and a voice. "Mr. Parker, we know you're in there. Open the door." Kevin's blood turned to ice. They were already here,